Coming to you a long time ago from a galaxy far, far away, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy than right here on this podcast. With me this week in Moss Eisley's cantina, that malfunctioning little twerp, it's Chris.
Hold on. Hello there.
Hello there. Doesn't quite work with the headphones, does it?
I know.
And secondly, I apologise, Andy. I recognised your foul stench when we started recording. It's Andy.
Ah.
I kept it as part of the movie, as we always do, because at one point I was going to say, Andy, we're all looking forward to G.I. Jane 2 coming out. To see
Hey, you went there already.
But I thought
just his hand come out of nowhere.
I thought in the context of this year's
We had a whole plan, didn't we, Chris, for that? We can't repeat our plan.
Right, okay. We'll maybe get to that after the podcast. We're the 10 Point Podcast. You can find us wherever you get podcasts. We've had a little bit more of a break than we were anticipating, but we are back and we are charging towards
Chris
the
had
end.
the shits.
We are charging towards the end of season 5, and you can find all your 10 Point Podcast needs and wants and stuff at 10pointpodcast.com, and you can find us on YouTube. We are 10 Point Podcast over there. Get in touch. Facebook and Twitter, 10 Point Podcast over there as well. And of course, we're a podcast, so wherever you get podcasts, we're there as well. What have
Just
we
not
been...
Russia.
Yes. What have we been watching in the last week? I'm going to lead off, because I rarely ever lead off, I don't think, because it's fresh in my mind. I don't want to talk about it. Moon Knight has started.
Ah, yeah.
And it is the Marvel show of the moment. And episode 1 is all we've seen so far, because it's all that's come out. And while it's nothing we've never seen before, like I've got written down here, it's Venom meets the Mummy meets Me, Myself, and Irene. It's all three of that's what this is so far. We've had one episode that was 35, 40 minutes long, something like that.
25 minutes of credits. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, plus 25 minutes of credits. And I enjoyed episode 1 because I know zero about Moon Knight. I know absolutely nothing about it.
Absolutely the same.
And this is the first Marvel show we've had where we don't really know who it is. Like, obviously, Hawkeye wasn't directly about Hawkeye necessarily, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier, he was becoming Captain America, but we'd seen these characters before. So I liked it because I didn't know anything. I go into the episode not knowing anything, and at the end of it, I'm like, aha, right. I now have a base knowledge of what is going to happen, but I really don't know anything yet. So for an episode 1, I quite enjoyed it. How about you guys if you saw it?
I'm looking forward to finding out how he got it. Because, like you said, I haven't Googled anything about Moon Knight. I don't know. Couldn't tell you his name, whether it's Mark or the other one. I couldn't tell you anything. Yeah.
I think it's Stephen and Mark, and then Moon Knight.
It's Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah, Oscar.
I don't even know who the other guy is, who with the random scales. I couldn't tell you who he is. So I'm looking forward to finding out what happens and how they're getting integrated into it.
What about you, Andy?
I've got a film which I'll slag off, but people will like it. Turning Red.
Ah, okay, right.
I watched that. It's actually pretty fun, but it is just one long period joke.
Yes.
But it's very much worth a watch. I think kids will love it, and if you like red pandas, Chantel loves red pandas. But for me, it just had an underlying period joke, which entertained me quite.
It's always going to be uncomfortable for men. I think it's going to be different. I think we're never going to shake this. I don't think so.
Nicola and the girls watched that at our mum's, and obviously her stepdad and our brother were there, watched it, and they're going, "What? What's happening? What is this about?" And Nicola explained, and she was like, "Oh crap!" And they were stuck there watching it for like an hour and a half.
But like, yeah, it's good, and it's nice to see Disney kind of going outside their comfort zone. And like I said, it is actually, you get past that, it's actually quite a good film.
It's
however,
is it Pixar?
Yeah, Pixar,
they rarely miss do Pixar. So.
Yeah, but the one TV show, it's not a film, it's a TV show that I'm buzzing for, and I need to give praise, just like I did for Peacemaker, Halo.
Ah, okay.
What a show! That has been slagged off, something rotten online. Okay. However, on episode 2 now, what a show!
Well, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's like spoiler free. If you play the games, you know bits, but if you haven't played the games, you can watch it as well. And I'm sitting there going, "That's not part of the game. What the fuck are they going to do now?" Mm-hmm. So already they've changed the story. So it's made me excited for it because I have no fucking clue what's going to happen. And I like TV shows where I don't actually know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I like that. but the more I talk about it, the angrier I get because him taking his helmet off, spoilers, because that's what everybody's going on about. Doesn't bother me whatsoever because he does it in the game, but you just don't see his face. That doesn't bother me. It's other things that are pissing me off.
Well, episode 2 is right up your street because there's a lot of other things, Chris. Making me just go, ooh. So I highly recommend it. Get Paramount Plus, get your subscription. I don't know actually when it's out in the UK, but still, it needs to come off because I mean they spent 200 million on it, so it needs to do well, and I want a season 2.
Yeah.
There was more buzz that it was coming than actually I didn't know that it was here. Like I kind of it's so that
episode 1 came out, it got shit canned, everybody hated it. All the Halo fans were like, "Oh my god, it's not Halo!" It's like, just shut up.
Oh, the action shit's awesome.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth a watch. It's my new Peacemaker recommendation at the moment.
Well, speaking of that, I watched The Suicide Squad because Peacemaker was now available to me. So I enjoyed watching The Suicide Squad again. I think it's definitely better than the original Suicide Squad film.
Yes.
Despite the clearly we can get Harley Quinn. Let's try and fit her in, sort of thing. It's a bit forced, but I enjoy that film. I think it's fun. And Peacemaker, I've only watched episode 1 so far because I watched it and I was like, I can absolutely see why Andy likes this. This is absolutely Andy's thing, like stamped like 10 out of 10.
Episode 1 is actually the purest episode. It only gets better every episode.
Right,
it's like a fine wine. It just gets better and better.
It does surprise me where it goes. I'm not expecting a lot of things that do happen in it and all that. So I'm not like, oh, what a waste of time. But I can see where it's not perfect, but I will return to it. And
it gets there. It gets perfect.
I'm starting to watch it as well.
Yeah, so episode 1, you can see what they're going for. Episode 1 is it's like John Cena swearing is still already a bit strange for me. I'm not sure. Like,
you wait. John Cena does a lot. But the star of that show is Eagly, by the way. Just spoiler alert.
He's a bit strange in the first one, is old Eagly. Like it's a bit of a strange dynamic, but I bet he comes into it better. What were you, any more things?
I've got one last thing that I haven't seen before. I watched Jackass Forever, and I liked it, but I found this the hardest one to watch because there's a lot of stuff that kind of freaked. Like I was like, oh no.
I told you. Remember when I reviewed this and I said there's things that I didn't know a penis could do.
Oh yeah, the paddle thing. That was amazing.
I know.
I won't say anything else, but I didn't realize I could do it.
At some point, I'll get around to seeing this.
The hardest one, Poopies is the best thing about it.
Poopies is one of the new Jackasses, and there's a few of them, but Poopies I warmed to straight away. Yeah.
And there's one. He gets a snake is involved, and I found that the hardest thing to watch.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
I've watched because we've been gone for a while. I've watched a million things. I found since I got charged for Disney Plus for another year, I thought, right, I'm gonna make the most of having Disney Plus. So I've just been sticking stuff on all the time. So once again, I think I'm in the top 5% of fans of Iron Man 2 in the world. I really like that film. Everybody always has it as like, oh yeah, it's like 16th of the Marvel movies and all that. I love Iron Man 2. I think it's amazing. So I watched it. I had that on. To say I watched it is a bit harsh. I had it on again. I love that film. It's great. It's so much fun. And then having AC/DC as the soundtrack also helps. But what I did watch that wasn't Disney Plus was I watched The Amazing Spider-Man because of all the Spider-Man buzz. And I don't think I've seen it in years and years and years. So it's the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film. It's pretty depressing. Like, it is not like a fun time. And he spends most of the film just being Peter Parker. Like, he's not Spider-Man until the last little bit of it. And I don't remember it being like that. I remember it being a lot more, this is a great Spider-Man film. It wasn't bad. But having watched Tobey Maguire ones quite recently, it's like, they're a lot more fun than this one. This is quite dark and not in a kind of Batman kind of way because it's meant to still be a young teenager guy having a lot of fun. But yeah, nothing but superheroes for me this week, really. That's all my things that I've watched. Is that us then for what we've watched?
I think so.
What have we been watching? On to point 1 then, and the point for the podcast this week. The point this week, the 1977 action adventure fantasy sci-fi film Star Wars / Star Wars: A New Hope / Episode 4 Star Wars: A New Hope.
It's probably been changed by the time we made this podcast.
Yeah, it might be called something else now. Yeah. Anyway, the first Star Wars film, you may have heard of it. Brought to us by 20th Century Fox, who we do all the time. Alien, Aliens, Cocoon, Die Hard, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Office Space, Me, Myself and Irene, Kung Pao, and Gone Girl, and maybe some others. And also by Lucasfilm, who we have done before because they did Howard the Duck, which somehow was the first Lucasfilm we did. But we'll see. Written and directed by the aforementioned George Lucas. He wrote and or directed or has credits in writing or directing THX 1138, his kind of first big feature thing, American Graffiti, his second one, and then everything Star Wars, everything Indiana Jones, and then Willow. I've got Willow at the end because pretty much after he did Star Wars and Indiana Jones, everything else he was ever involved in was to do with them, one way or another. Having directed, I think, 3 of all of the Star Wars films, George Lucas, but he had writing credits in all of them, mainly just character stuff, but he did write a few. Star Wars, the first one, stars Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, famous for Star Wars, being in 6 of the films and other bits and pieces. Other things he's famous for being the voice of the Joker. He's famous for being in hundreds, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of animated shows and films. As in, I think he might have the highest IMDb count I've ever seen. I think he's 349 things or something like that, which for comparison, Harrison Ford on IMDb is 82. So that's quite a larger. And then that's really it for Mark Hamill. He's in other bits and pieces, but Andy, what is the best thing Mark Hamill's ever been in?
Jane and Bob Strike Back as Cockknocker.
I thought you might say that. I left that especially for you. That's his other main role, apparently. Co-starring as Han Solo, Harrison Ford, the aforementioned, famous for Star Wars. He was in Apocalypse Now, in between Star Wars, and then Indiana Jones. And then Indiana Jones and Star Wars are here repeated appearances for him throughout the 80s, 90s, and onwards. He was also in Blade Runner and its sequel. He was Oscar nominated in Witness. He's famous for being The Fugitive. And then he kind of stopped making movies in the mid-90s and did like one every couple of years. And the high points being the Indiana Jones sequel that didn't go too well, and then Ender's Game to me seems like the last best thing he was in. He was like the main adult, and then he was in the Expendables 3, but I don't know how much he was in that because I have never seen it. So that's Harrison Ford, and our third star, Carrie Fisher, known for Star Wars, being in a whole bunch of them, the Blues Brothers that we did recently, and then pretty much cameos for the next 20 years, just being essentially, oh, look who it is in one scene in a film here and there. She was in Scream 3 that I saw recently. But Andy, what is the best cameo Carrie Fisher's ever had?
And Jane and Bob Strike Back.
Yes, I thought you might say that. I don't know if it was a good one or not, but I just thought I laughed when I found that she was in that as well. Yes, I guess the Strike Back meant that they went for Carrie Fisher. And doing this research has connected something in my mind that I could forgotten, was that I remembered Carrie Fisher essentially playing the role of the Penguin in something, but not the Batman Penguin, but the Blues Brothers Penguin. And I'm like, because she's not the Penguin in the Blues Brothers. And it turns out it's the Charlie's Angels films that she plays a nun in. And I'm like, okay, that's where it comes from. So yeah, that's finally connected that confusing thing I had in my head since we did Blues Brothers. They are our main stars. There are a lot of famous people who are in a lot of films in these. And when I say a lot of films, mainly Star Wars films. Because this film made a lot of money, as you will hear right now, on a budget of initially $11 million. As in 1977, that's how much money they had to make this film. This film is not as it was in 1977, we can say that. But on a budget of $11 million, its first weekend in America opened for $1.5 million. Its final US gross, $461 million. Final worldwide, $775 million. I think that might never be beaten for return on investment, considering with these numbers, it made over $760 million. I think that would be hard to beat, even with something like Avengers Endgame, because its budget will be gigantic. Yeah. I don't have any additional costs for redoing it in the 90s and then redoing it in 2000s and all that sort of stuff, but there's at least been a couple of versions since then. Released 25th of May 1997 means it qualified for the 78 awards season and also the 79 one in the UK because it came out a bit later. But at the 1978 Oscars, the Star Wars was well represented. Nominated for Best Set Decoration, it won. Nominated for Best Costume, it won. Nominated for Best Sound, it won. Best Film Editing, it won. Visual Effects, it won. Best Original Score, it won. Best Original Screenplay, it lost to Annie Hall. Best Supporting Actor for Alec Guinness, lost to Jason Robards for a film called Julia. I've neither heard of him or the film, I don't think. Nominated for Best Director, George Lucas, lost to Woody Allen for Annie Hall. Nominated for Best Picture, and it also lost to Annie Hall. So I think this was maybe the first year where a massive blockbuster is at the Oscars, but wins none of the big awards. And it seems a tradition that we've had for the 40 years since, right up to this week, when Dune, massive blockbuster, came away with only technical awards at the Oscars and was the most winningest, I think, on the night, but won nothing important beyond like the minor technical award, the technical awards, I should say. At the Oscars, Star Wars was awarded a Special Achievement Award for sound effects for alien, creature, and robot voices specifically. So they created a special award to give to Star Wars. So came away with
lightsaber noise. That's the best noise ever.
Most satisfying noise. Came away with 7 Oscar trophies if you give it an Oscar for a special one, which I'm assuming they do. At the 79 BAFTAs, as aforementioned, I've not broken out as many down as this. 6 nominations, 2 wins. They're for Best Sound and Best Film Music. Again, none of the biggies at the BAFTAs. 1978 Golden Globes, 4 nominations and only 1 win, once again for the score. None of the big ones again. But speaking of big ones, the big awards ceremony we all want to know about. The 1978 Saturn Awards. How did Star Wars...
Oh, it was going back then, was it?
When I first got to it, it was telling me about the 2005 for the trilogy and something else for this DVD release and all that. And I found, actually, the 78 Saturn Awards were going. So it was awarded Outstanding Art Direction. It was awarded Outstanding Editing, awarded Outstanding Set Decoration, awarded Outstanding Sound, and awarded Outstanding Cinematographer. As in, there were no other like nominees. So I don't know if they were just like given to them again for being so good at the Saturn Awards. So there's 5 off the bat just given to it. So nominated for Best Costumes, it won. Nominated for Best Makeup, it won. Nominated for Best Music, it won, but was tied with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Nominated for Best Special Effects, it won. Nominated for Best Writing, it won. Nominated for Best Actor, Harrison Ford. Nominated for Best Actor, Mark Hamill. They both lost to George Burns for the film Oh God. Again, I know him, but I don't know the film. Nominated for Best Actress, Carrie Fisher. She lost to Jodie Foster in The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. like a nursery rhyme or something there. Nominated for Best Supporting Actor, Alec Guinness. He won. Nominated for Best Director, George Lucas. He won, but it was a tie with Steven Spielberg for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And nominated for Best Science Fiction Film, it of course won. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Saturn Awards for Star Wars before it became A New Hope in Episode 4 and all that. It has 63 award wins in total, including 9 Guinness World Records to its name for most money made by this and most money done by that and biggest this and biggest that. Successful film, this Star Wars, you may have heard of. So what is it about? Michael has given us a synopsis here. This might be the longest synopsis yet.
Oh God!
It's a lot to explain. The other next longest one stopped in like the deserts of Tatooine, so I thought this was a bit further. In a distant galaxy, eons before the creation of the planet known as Earth, vast civilizations have evolved, and ruling the galaxy is an interstellar empire created from the ruins of an old republic that held sway for generations. It is a time of civil war, as solar systems have broken away from the Empire and are waging a war of rebellion. During a recent battle, technical schematics for a gigantic space station codenamed the Death Star have been unearthed by rebel spies, and a young woman who is a dissident member of the Imperial Senate, under the cover of a diplomatic mission to the planet Alderaan, is trying to smuggle these plans to the rebellion.
That's been 5 minutes, we're still on the same question.
But our spacecraft is attacked by a vast warship of the Empire and seized. The dissident senator is captured, but the plans for the Death Star are nowhere to be found. While soldiers of the Empire search the nearby planet Tatooine, a series of incidents sweeps up a young desert farmer with dreams of being a fighter pilot in the rebellion as he winds up with the Death Star plans and also the assistance of an elderly hermit who once served as a warrior of an ancient order whose chosen weapons were powerful energy swords known as lightsabers. Full stop. There we go. The pair recruit a cynical interstellar smuggler and his outsized alien co-pilot with an ancient freighter heavily modified for combat to help them reach Alderaan. But the planet is obliterated, and now the foursome must rescue the young woman held prisoner by the Empire and lead an attack by the rebellion against the Death Star before it can annihilate all hope of restoring freedom to the galaxy.
Fucking hell. I just tanned another can there.
I didn't need to watch the films, I had to read this.
Yeah.
He made
It's
his
like
own story up as well. He added
yeah,
points.
that bit at the beginning. I'm not sure that was ever established. But fair enough. Who picked? Chris did. Chris, why have you picked this?
Well, it's been nearly 100 episodes. We haven't had a single Star Wars one yet. And on a side note, on a podcast first, me and Andy managed to watch it together and played the Star Wars drinking game, which did not end well.
How Chris managed to do that, Andy, but you and I arranged to do this before Chris joined the call, and Chris has come at the perfect time with this anecdote.
It has. Where it took, this is the longest, like, I understand why Chris takes like 3 or 4 watches, because it took us about 5 hours to watch this film. And there was about an hour mop-up break because Sean decided to fuck a cocktail.
It was going so well. He goes, "Have you holding it?" Yeah. Poof! Splatter everywhere.
So yeah, long story short, for people that can't visually see Chris doing that, is we made a cocktail, and Sean was so drunk, didn't really know how to keep the lid on the cocktail maker, so we had to make sure his hand was in the top, so he was shaking it vigorously, then decided to put his hand left and right of the cocktail shaker, and then thrust, to which the top flew off, and absolutely stained his kitchen because we used a special powder to dye it like bright red. Everything in his kitchen was red. It took us an hour to clean up. His dog even turned pink.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, about 5 hours to watch this film.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't have anything to shot, so we ended up shotting absinthe.
Yeah, we did start shot absinthe.
So yeah, some good notes you guys must have taken during that one.
So what are the game to play, the Star Wars drinking game, because you drink every 2 seconds.
I'm going to say
it was carnage.
Are there a quick couple of rules you can give us? Like, what do you do
when? Every time Luke whinges, take a drink, which is every 30 seconds.
That's where, by the time they got off of Tatooine, we were fucked.
It was even for little stuff like, I don't want to go, whinge, drink.
We were literally just calling out anytime like basically Luke talked. It was like, hey, he's moaning. And surprisingly, he moans a lot.
He does moan a lot, yeah.
Every time we watched the remaster, so anytime there was unnecessary CGI,
yeah,
you had to drink.
Added extra CGI. It was
nearly every scene.
Easily would flatten you there, I think.
And there was, I think we worked out there was going to be 4 absinthe shots, but Sean's other half kept trying to hide the absinthe bottle from us. So anytime she went to the toilet, we just end up having another shot of absinthe in between.
Just get it out of the way.
One of the.
So yes, carnage watching this film.
So normally I follow up. So Chris, is that why you put it fits with your theme?
Oh, it's a theme, yeah.
The theme is, and can you explain why this fits, if it's okay?
Well, yeah. Now we can, as you figure out, it's got a 3D hologram, which is now a thing, and now lightsabers are a thing. So. Well, some guy made a lightsaber.
Yeah, some guy actually made a lightsaber.
Right,
that happened in the last few months, so yeah. It doesn't happen in this film, but other films like biotics and stuff.
We'll give them holograms easily.
Yeah.
Star Wars predicted proper 3D holograms.
Yeah, and pretty much ours are better than Princess Leia was, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But this was before Earth was even created.
Of course. Yeah. Have we seen it before? Of course we have. Which channel will we see it on? I've just got all channels written down. I think
I've all two locations.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's exclusively on Disney Plus now. I don't know if it's still on television or not, but because Disney owns it, and that is how I watched it. So the version I watched was the Disney Plus, which I'm assuming is the current like in canon version of Star Wars. This is what's supposed to have happened. Did you watch it on a DVD or elsewhere? Right.
Oh no, yeah, we watched the Disney one.
We watched the Disney one together, but I have watched probably all 4 versions of this.
I was trying to establish...
My mind was blown because I got shown Jabba the Hutt as a man.
Oh yeah, we showed
that blew my mind.
I was trying to establish this with my dad because I'm not quite old enough to have seen the first Star Wars before. Would it be Return of the Jedi that Jabba returns in? Because he was obviously he was a worm man by that point.
Yeah.
So there's no way. Like I was born a year before I think Return of the Jedi came out, but I've somehow seen the version that has just a man in it. Because only in one scene anyway. So I'm trying to explain. And neither of us can explain or work out how and when and why I would have seen it, unless just some random TV channel just had that version to put on.
No,
TV.
because I don't think they actually changed it until 1994 when the gold and silver VHSs came out.
So everyone just had to assume during Empire Strikes Back, this guy
he turned into a slug.
A slug, yeah. So
in 1970, that scene's not even in it. Like the 77 version that I watched wasn't even there. It wasn't until I watched the remaster.
Okay. Any other glaring differences, Chris, in your two versions? Was there anything that jumped out as being different?
Apart from that, just CGIs and scenes where things weren't moving now randomly move because it just looks weird.
Also, the color is massively different as well.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Basically, the color that you see now is not the actual color of Star Wars at all. I do have a story and an insider thing, but I know where the originals are.
Right. Yeah.
And that person will not give the originals away either. Disney have called them for the originals, and they were like, no. So yeah, I know the guy.
You do know the guy. So there we go. We better get on with it then, because we've spent half the podcast not talking about it so far. On to point 2 on the podcast, 30 minutes in. The high points. What was like the best bits and things were? Chris, why don't you start us off?
Right at the very start, that iconic opening. Like, you can't go anywhere else with that. I mean, the music's awesome. The floating words are traveling slow enough for you to read, so you don't have to keep pausing going, what the fuck did that say? Okay.
And what I like, it's like important bits are in all caps as well.
Yes.
Like the Galactic Empire and the Death
you
Star.
caught up right away. You're like, okay, I know what's happening. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's one of these films. Obviously, it's a big thing that George Lucas did, which was no credits at the start, no long winding intros. Obviously, he got sued massively for that, but it starts off with like, all right, here's some shit going down. This is what you need to know. Then action. That's how all films start.
The half the film would be done before the credits were up. Because that many people in it. Yeah,
because normally I kind of write down the stars of the film as they pop up at the beginning of the credits, but it's like it just goes straight into this one. I do. This is a perfect example of how to just put viewers into a story without having to just like, here's the first scene with this character and who they are and why they're doing it. Oh, and back then he was like this and now he's like that, and then into all the relationships. It's just like tell you the important bits and you work it out as you go along. Now, obviously, we now know there's 3+ stories before this, but at the time,
you didn't need to know.
You didn't need to know. You just like, here's the film.
Like, but you didn't know it. Like, it went straight onto the ship. People are running about. Like, okay, they know they're under attack. And you know who this person is? She's doing something with a robot. That's fine. You know, you kind of understand what's happening.
Oh, this guy looks bad.
Yeah,
yeah. It's what film's missing now. It's like it's kind of like why I liked Halo, like and stuff like that. I obviously know a bit of the story, but they've changed it so much. And the same with this. It's like you can go into this film not knowing a thing, and it's just dropped you straight into this fantasy world that you can understand.
Yeah,
and it's like films like that don't do it. Like Interstellar's confusing and complicated, and you've got like all these other new big when they try and do big sci-fi blockbuster, they try and do too much explaining. You're just like, what? What's that guy's name?
Even
straight away, I know it's like that's Darth Vader.
Even something like Dune, I can't remember if there was a scroll at the beginning of Dune or not, because I've only seen it the once.
There's a lot of it, yeah.
I still feel like that was one film, and that entire film was taken up by introducing everybody, and then like to the point where that's another thing. We wondered about it at the time. There's an advert on television now. Sky Movies are like, these are our big blockbusters that are coming soon. There are 3 shots of Zendaya from Dune in this trailer, including one line, and I'm like, that's everything that she's in that film. You've put in the advert here, and it's like, it's a scam. Chris, you've hit my first high point, but I'm going to hit my second high point. R2-D2. I don't think R2-D2 gets enough credit. I think he is a genius invention as R2-D2 because you look at him, he's iconic, obviously now, but you look at him, it doesn't look like he's a little guy in there. It doesn't look like he's a little remote control car, and the little thing has so much charisma. That little robot. And you believe he's a character. He never says any lines, but you can always tell what he's on about. Like it's why he's agitated or why he's angry, if he's sad. He makes some of the funniest noises in all of the films.
That's a nice one. His scream when he gets shot with that electric gun cracks him up every time.
Yeah. And he kind of wobbles around and all that. I don't think R2-D2 gets the credit for being a great character as much as he does. However, I think I always forget that the first half hour of this film is an R2-D2 story. As in, he is the main character for the first 30 minutes of this film. Like we see Princess Leia, we see Darth Vader, and then it's R2-D2 for 20 minutes, and it's like I always forget about that. But yeah, R2-D2 is a big high point, just how great he is, and the fact that he is one of the very few people that's in all 9 films plus others as well.
I was going to ask about that, but I'm asking about it off here. I was going to say, how is he? What happens between the 3rd and the 4th? I can't remember. The end of the
I think that's the biggest problem they've got. I think they get given to Princess Leia's like adopted dad, and he gets their minds wiped. But then I think R2-D2 might actually not. R2D2 might be this sudden, he's conscious throughout and he knows everybody the whole way through. I think he is the constant, the Star. Yeah, he's the watcher of the Star Wars. That's my perception of it anyway. Any other high points?
Mos Eisley's.
Yes. I only know that name now because of the Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Yeah. I've got specifically the cantina. I think that is great in Mos Eisley.
The special effects, not even special effects, the practical effects, costumes, makeup, sets, just everything. It's just like they walk
all the different varieties of robot aliens as well. It's
amazing. And obviously now Star Wars has a backstory for every single one of those aliens, but at the time you didn't even need it. It's just holy shit, I believe these people. I believe that could exist. I believe a guy can have testicles on his chin. It's just.
It looks more like an arse crack to me now on this viewing. I was like, that's an arse. He's definitely upside down. Another one. This is the first time I've spotted the guy. I don't know the type of alien whose head kind of goes like that and never kind of flat.
Oh yeah,
it's like the mayor of Mos Eisley or Mos Espa or it was in Boba Fett, and this keeps happening to me because I remember I going crazy for there's a droid in this film and he's like the droid in the first season of The Mandalorian. And everyone's like and everything. And I'm like, well, I didn't notice that. Okay, but yeah, they do weave. They must have maybe 20, 25 kind of different kinds of aliens that they keep weaving in and out. It's quite good.
Oh, on a side note, this is our first shot when the guy got his arm chopped off.
Yeah. That's the first abstinence shot.
I did notice there is a trend of arms coming off. But I'll get into that a bit later on about the arms coming off.
Yeah, my next one is the introduction of Han and Chewie. Instantly, I'm gonna like these guys. They just, I like the cut of their jib. They just say it as it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get too deep into timelines and all that sort of stuff, but I felt like Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't know Chewbacca, and there was this guy who seemed to be like a kind of, Ben Kenobi, I will find you this guy, this big Wookiee. He knows a plane that can get you there, because it felt like there was this one guy in between that was like taking him to Chewbacca, and then this kind of interim kind of guy helping out. But to my mind, at this point, I feel like Chewbacca and Obi-Wan Kenobi should kind of know each other, but I could be very wrong on that.
They haven't scenes together in the previous films.
No. They
No.
very much kept them apart, even in the Clone Wars and stuff like that.
Are they apart in
Obi-Wan, even when they talk about the Wookiees and that, Obi-Wan deals with another Wookiee. It's not Chewbacca.
Right. Okay. But it was more of I just noticed first time I noticed there was a guy introducing him to Chewbacca, and I was like, okay, I wonder who that guy is. How he knows everyone. We skipped over one high point, but essentially it's a high point throughout for me. It never fails to astound me how great the score is in this film. There are maybe that is a great song. That wasn't part of the score necessarily, but that is incredible, and I love that song, and that is my favorite bit of Star Wars music is that. Actual films, there are 8 iconic bits of Star Wars music that in this film they all have each one scene. It's yes, that's that music, that's that. The bit where he's looking at the twin suns on Tatooine.
Yeah, I was just going to say that bit.
The Empire March, which actually isn't in this one, I don't think, but that comes into maybe it is hidden somewhere. It's in there. There we go. It's in this, and then just every bit, even little twists, and they overlap a bit of one song with the other, and all that. It's just incredible, and I can see why John Williams won every single possible award for the music, and it's unbelievable. No higher high point than the score in this film, I don't think.
My next one, I think there's a lot of little stuff that happens, but there's nothing great. But apart from the first demonstration of the Death Star's power, and the Falcon coming across the small moon, it's just.
That's no moon.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a great scene just to show these guys are fucking evil.
Big shout out to the 2 guys who are my favourite guys in this film that work in the laser of the
Family Guy's version of this has ruined it for me.
And I meant to say at the beginning, I was like, it's really hard for me to discuss this film because I pretty much know it's Blue Harvest, isn't it?
Yeah, Blue Harvest.
Family Guy version of this. I know that backward. I know that like the back of my hand. That
the guy at the end is just got the gun going, zap.
Yeah. I was like, the guy goes, look, sir, droids, look, a penny. That's I can't. Anytime one of these jokes happens in the real film, I automatically fill in the Family Guy bit. So yeah, it's very hard for me to make fun, poke holes, because Family Guy's done it. It's like the old South Park joke of the Simpsons having done it. It's like Family Guy's done this podcast for us, so it's quite difficult. But yeah, the Death Star firing and blowing up Alderaan.
Well, pretty much everything on the Death Star is really good with them on it. not hunting for Leia, but coming across Leia, and then
the sets and everything on it.
Uh,
My star high point, since you've got the music, mine's is the Millennium Falcon itself. Like that ship, and it's like it carries on throughout the rest of the Star Wars. Every time you see that, I get a tear in my eye. But this one is the first one. It's just like it takes off. It's pretty cool, and it's like the actual ship itself looks cool. But then even at the end, it's just like the Millennium Falcon is the true hero. He saves the day. Like Luke couldn't take that shot, and then suddenly Millennium Falcon out of nowhere. It's like it's just such a good ship.
I always
there as well does a great job of explaining Darth Vader coming back, of him just getting flipped away.
Yeah. What the Millennium Falcon does in this film, I need to change my personal, because I always say that when that happens, it's like Gandalf saving the day in the second Lord of the Rings film, because so many films do it. Is, oh my god, our heroes we cannot do the thing, and then here's the other batch of heroes you forgot about to help them. It's like, I don't know if this was the first version, but really I take away Gandalf and say it's like the Millennium Falcon in the first Star Wars film coming to save the day. It happens quite a lot, and in my eyes at this point, this is the first example of that. Chris talks about small high points. One of mine is the scene of Han Solo dealing with the radio. It's really good. We're like, oh yeah, no, sorry, there was a weapon malfunction. I just really like that. So again, mixed in with the Family Guy one in my head because it's what's on there. But I quite enjoy it. And then in fact, he shoots and goes, oh, boring conversation anyway. Look, who got company. It's like, but I just like that he tried to. I'll try the easy option first by just discussing it with them. I've only got one high point left, so I can leave it to you guys to do some bits.
I think everything else has been covered for me.
Mine's, I'm going to say, Princess Leia's outfit. It's like, I know she hated it and there was only one outfit, but what a banging outfit. If you're stuck in one outfit, that's a good outfit to have. The
cinnamon bagels on her side of her head. Yeah.
Like, I don't think I paused the Carrie Fisher lying on the thing as much as a kid ever.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know who she thought was coming in. But
it's very provocative.
Yeah, she's like,
she's ready for, like, she's almost like she's ready to take a stormtrooper.
Well, to be fair, I mean, she kissed her brother, so maybe she's got after her dad as well. So
that was for luck. Have they changed that at all? I feel like it was quite
for luck.
A kiss on the cheek, and it was weird anyway. Like it's a very movie thing to happen. That wouldn't happen in real life, and even in space back in the day. But yeah, that was strange. But yeah, I didn't feel too creepy. I feel like it's maybe overblown, the relationship between them two. Okay, so on to my last high point, and I have learned through years of Star Warsing that it's called the Battle of Yavin, and it's very important. But I always forget how good it is. Like it is a really good set piece, I guess you would call it. And why that's weird for me is there is no music. Like there is no score for the Battle of Yavin. It's all sound effects, it's all radio, it's all conversation, and then the noises the ships are making, and pew pew and all that sort of stuff, and then the great noise that the TIE fighters make when they fly as well. And it's, I don't know if it's because it's kind of sounds and feels different to the rest of the film, but it's a really good, and I always like when you think about it, like, oh yeah, that's that when they blow up the Death Star, when they shoot the thing down the hole, that's so silly and all that. But when you watch it, it's like, this is great. And of course, you can tell half of it is like miniatures and all that. It's like, that's not aged brilliantly anymore. But with the full CGI around about it, it's exceptional, the Battle of Yavin. It's a very good. This film is another one that it kind of gets better and better as it goes on. Like I say, when essentially the Millennium Falcon arrives at the Death Star to the end is all really good. And that's me. Is that us for high points?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, too much to talk about.
We probably could do a whole hour on the high points. You kind of have to pick and choose here. So on to the low points. I'll start off because my first low point is my low points are again a bit iffy with this. Some of them are just questions rather than low points. So more than ever before did I pay attention to like the first scenes in this film. Like I feel like I just stick on Star Wars and I'm right, okay, Star Wars is on, and I'll get, when it gets into it, I'll start paying attention. I hadn't realised how chatty Darth Vader is at the beginning of this film. Like I
know.
He talks a lot. Like he's talking to this guy, he's talking like all the other films seem to be like it's Darth Vader and it's like the Emperor and it's like Darth Vader and maybe one other person, but he's got a whole bunch of mates, a whole bunch of team around him and all. It's like he's chatting to everybody, bossing folk around and all that. I hadn't noticed how much he actually has to say. He must talk twice as much in this as every other film, I reckon.
Yeah.
So it's not a low point. I just noticed it.
Yeah. My low points are all over the bit, but my top one I've got is, it's a bit harsh, given that the age of Alec McGuinness, but the epic lightsaber. It's a little bit.
It's actually my one and only low point in this film. and it was even before they remastered it and did the prequels, and you see them jumping around.
Yeah.
It's just like these grade 2 warriors, and it's just like, dang.
It's like they can't be bothered. Just like,
I've
Zap,
just seen
zap,
these
zap,
lights,
zap.
like even Luke playing with his lightsaber with the drone is like, oh, that thing's cool. I want to see that, and it's just like, dink, dink. It's like, oh no, it's
Even
so
how again,
shit.
this holds it. It's kind of
Yeah.
like this. It's like my notes literally say the lightsaber duel was pretty funny, and that's my low point. But it's and I still don't quite understand why Obi-Wan Kenobi did what he did. Like, I know he wanted to ascend to be a great Jedi, and it's like, would you not just be as much helping? Like,
Yep.
it was like, I'll be a distraction so you can get away. It's a case of, oh yeah, they're over there, and all the stormtroopers turn to start shooting the rest of the good guy team, and then he's like, all right, I'll take the bullet now. They're not even off the Death Star now. Kill me. And it's like, it was strangely played out. But yeah, the actual duel itself is quite funny now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where if you go on YouTube, there's somebody that's done a remastered version of it. Holy shit, it's epic.
Okay.
It's like, that's what I want to see.
And
Yeah.
then, obviously, in the context of the episodes in numerical order all the way through now, to see them having a pretty good lightsaber battle in literally the previous film, episode
Yeah.
3, to then this of them being like, yeah.
And
I'm looking forward to
we're about to fill in
Kenobi.
yeah, we're going to get
Yeah.
filling in more gap in a few weeks' time as well.
Exactly.
Where it's like, it could make this duel even worse as a low point.
I wonder how many seasons are we going to get of Kenobi, and is something going to happen to him that means that he's like becomes an old man? Because it's not that big a gap, is it? It can't be more than like 20 years that he's on.
I think it's
Tatooine.
20-something years, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he's gone from whatever Obi-Wan Kenobi is, say he's 30, to like 30 odd to 50 odd, and it's like it doesn't seems like a very old man at the end of his life at this point. But yes, that's for another time, I'm sure. Speaking of Obi-Wan Kenobi, my first actual low point was the hilarious Obi-Wan Kenobi's alias secret identity situation, which is just my favourite bit in all of the Family Guy one, which is old Ben Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I wonder if it means old Ben Kenobi. It's like, oh, yeah, straight away. Like, not one person in the entire Empire could have worked this out. But yeah, that's like, surely you could have come up with a different name. Like, how many Kenobis can there be?
I was just going to say.
Again,
Just keep the name Obi, but call yourself Obi, I don't know, Davidson. Oh, I don't know that guy. I don't know why Davidson popped in, but
yeah. I'll stick with. I've got a lot of complaints about Obi-Wan Kenobi in this film. I don't know why. Just it annoyed me. His version of events concerning Luke's father annoyed me in this film. We're privy to more information than Luke is. This was obviously made before all the rest, but the fact that he says, "Oh, I fought with your father, and he was killed by Darth Vader, a former pupil of mine who turned to the dark side." It's like, you could just say it's the same guy. Like if you at this time thought there were different people, which I don't know if that's what George Lucas was planning or whatever, or if the whole time it was always meant to be Anakin Skywalker, it doesn't really fit. He's being unnecessarily a pain in the arse, is Obi-Wan Kenobi here.
he's trying to save him from being like, "Oh my god, my dad's a bad guy."
Well, yeah, it was like, okay, I want to be a Jedi. Okay, then, but look out, Darth Vader's your dad, sort of thing. It's like, why spin this yarn about, oh yeah, your father, he was killed by Darth Vader? Because that's going to make you want to go kill Darth Vader, who is his dad, which ultimately he does attempt to do. So, mixing behind the scenes is old Obi-Wan. Anyway, else got any low points?
I never noticed this before, but when Luke comes back from seeing his mum, his aunt and uncle are dead, C-3PO's just like lobbing Jawas into a burning pile.
Listen, I don't know why, but yeah, I kept thinking, I don't remember how he finds them again. Like, Luke abandons, like, God, my house will be on fire. Goes back, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi's just like chilling. Well, C-3PO burns dead bodies next to him, and then R2-D2's just standing next to the fire, just looking at it as well.
What's my next one? Again, it's like a fault. Like the garbage scene, they're all like standing ankle deep water, and out of nowhere, Luke finds the Mariana Trench and just goes down.
The inept dealing with the monster in the trash compactor, where there's a monster in here. No, there isn't. Something moved by me. Let's just stand still until one of us gets grabbed, and then, like you say, like knee deep, and then Luke disappears. It's like, what is happening? And then he comes back up being throttled, and the rest of us are like, what is happening in here? It's like, there's a monster.
Right, it's time for me to knock out it's an oldie but a goodie. Sewers. Right.
Oh, God, right.
This is still under construction spaceship here, okay? And
Finished. I think this one is finished.
I get it still building, but who's throwing all that shit down? And like, they should be putting that straight into space, surely. Like, why is it full of water? Who's throwing water down and like recycling? That's bullshit.
Geez.
That's just bin juice. See, that's what it
Why is there a monster in the bin juice then?
I don't know why there's a monster.
Like, how old? Like, well, I suppose I think the Death Star takes about 20 years to build, so okay, it's got some wear and tear on it.
Maybe they're waiting for it to get filled up because it is a big, massive trash compactor.
But if I was a stormtrooper in Binjay going, there's a monster in this, we should really empty it. I'd be like, yeah, better had. Somebody might fall into that and get eaten by a monster.
But it's a trash compactor, so
yeah,
they might have to empty it. Like, why?
Exactly.
You're not just storing all of that in there. And if you are, it didn't seem like it was on like the edge of the ship that you could just take it out. It seemed like it was quite in the middle of the ship.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there's a monster living in it. Does the monster eat the rubbish?
I don't know. Maybe that's why they put it in.
Maybe. Because again,
like,
compactor, it's like, where did the monster go when it's getting compacted? So.
But also, like, it's my ultimate high point, and it's been parodied on everything. Especially Clerks has brought this up. The Rebels killed a bunch of innocent people in the Death Star. Like, it was still under construction.
I don't know. Isn't it the third one or something? I think this one was finished because they were testing it, like it was built.
Yeah, they're still testing it, but they're still going to have people on there.
It's like the other one, you can see it's still getting built, but this one was fully.
I think this one's built, but you're right. There'll still be like not civilians or something, but the people working in the canteen. There'll be joiners.
That's Lady Doris.
Yeah, just
here's one of their chaps.
The guy, unless it's the droids, someone must mop the corridors. Maybe the droids do the mopping. I don't know, but yeah, there will be innocents to a certain extent on there.
Yeah, so the rebel like, I'll just fuck it up. And it's like, okay, I get the point, but maybe not blow it up. Maybe disable it or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Or take it over. Like I don't know. You do some way, capture the boss and get everyone to leave. We've skipped over a massive low point for me, which is the unnecessary CGI edits.
That's my last low point.
It's like it essentially ruins the kind of half of what's on Tatooine because George Lucas is like, oh yeah, we should totally make the stormtroopers ride on lizard things there, and then let's make giant dinosaurs. Yeah, kind of frog things.
Dogs or whatever they're called.
Yeah, and then giant dinosaurs in the middle of Mos Eisley, and then every shot for a while. And at one point, I could be wrong, they're driving their car, and then they CGI something to walk and block the shot. Now, I don't know what they were covering, but do we know why that was happening?
There is an actor who walks past at that point in the original, and they wanted to edit him out for some reason. So I don't know if he was one of those. But they put the dinosaur in front to cover that person up.
It's really weird. It's like I've never seen it happen in a film because it goes on a bit longer than it needs to. Like you can just flash. But
I feel if they had just remastered the original as is, didn't add anything else that was unnecessary.
It's Han walking around Jabba every time he gets. It does not look good.
That is the worst. It is unnecessary. It's like
they could have just cut away and just had him talking off screen. Like just cut to Boba Fett, just going.
Has Boba Fett always been there? Was he added in at some point too? Because I don't remember.
He's always been in there.
I wasn't sure if that was another edit of in Empire Strikes Back we invented Boba Fett. Oh, let's go back and we could stick him next to Jabba the Hutt in that film because didn't ever remember seeing there. Right, so he's always been there. That was one of my questions I had. We've covered quite a lot here. Right,
just start moving on as well.
This is already going longer, I imagine. Obi-Wan Kenobi sacrifices himself for the greater good. And Luke is really cut up. Like, oh, I can't believe it did that. Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Did you give a shit about his parents?
His legal guardians. He go, oh, I'm done with him. Do you think he knew Obi-Wan Kenobi more than 2 days? Because I think that's my estimate.
No, because he kind of knew him. I think he went and visited them.
No, I think he was just. I think Obi-Wan was a bit too friendly with Luke, I would say.
Pedophiles won.
I think he knew him, but not well. He's just the weird old guy you'd go down and get some sweets off of. You know, the innocent
by the
times when you
trailer
do that.
of the Kenobi thing, he's watched them through binoculars.
Exactly.
In his bedroom.
Oh,
that's what I
right. So he's known him more than then. He's really cut up this guy he barely knew. And my last low point. Luke claiming that this is like bullseyeing womp rats is a giant red flag. I think he's a sadist.
I can't watch that because of Family Guy now. Because why'd you bring me out like that? Can you have just said it's easily done? But you had to point out my faults or whatever it is.
But yeah, I think he's a secret psychopath, is Luke Skywalker. That's where he turns to the dark side.
Killing innocent animals.
doing stuff like that. Unless my other theory on it would be that he is a farmer, so they might cause problems with his farm. So it's like shooting, I don't know, foxes or something that bothers farmers. So it could be like that. But the way he was talking about it's like, oh, you're a bit weird. Any other low points? I feel like we could go on for ages with these as well.
Nah.
They'll be silly little fun nitpicks anyway. So on to the stats. There were no shits and there were no F-bombs. However, R2-D2 was warned about his language, so I think he'd drop an F-bomb.
He dropped a BC bomb.
Maybe. 53 explosions. I went for substantial. Anytime someone shot a blaster and it made a puff of smoke on the wall, I wasn't counting that. But 53 explosions. Deaths. 55 deaths for definite. Did Obi-Wan Kenobi die? Does that count as a death?
Yes.
I would say he ascended.
Yeah, I'm not sure he died necessarily. So 56 if you include him. Google tells me the population of Alderaan is 2 billion people. So there's 2 billion. And Google also gave me a whole bunch of specific numbers. I don't know how this, but for the Death Star, roughly 1.5 million people on the Death Star. Which seems like a high estimate, but it's a small moon.
It's a small moon. It's very big.
So it looks like north of like 2.001 billion people died in this film, which is not a record because Starship Troopers, everybody on Earth died in Starship Troopers, plus a whole bunch of other people, and even the bugs if you wanted to include them as well. So yeah, Starship Troopers might not be caught. Our quotas: any dead animals? Alderaan must have had a couple. I'll tell you that much. I don't know, but other than that, yeah, what Brad's got bullseyed, but I don't actually we saw any animals getting killed at any point. No cows, no goats, not even space cows. With space milk, blue milk, but no space cows, space goats. No peeing that I could tell of, but I bet the trash compactor probably had something.
I think that's what Luke was doing. Is he's looking at the sun. He's having to be peed in the hole.
Not bad. Peter piles, I had none, but
I don't know.
I started questioning Obi-Wan motives.
Yeah.
I don't think the devil was involved, and there were no KKKs or Nazis, but stormtroopers are based on Nazis, so if you wanted to shoehorn that in there, we can. Luke Skywalker appears 17 minutes into this film that he's the main character in. Obi-Wan Kenobi appears 30 minutes into this film he's the main character in, and then disappears about 25 minutes before the film ends, so we get very little Obi-Wan Kenobi. Han Solo does not appear until 48 minutes in the film, and he is the second billed actor at the end, is Harrison Ford, 48 minutes into it. In my version, which I've learned is Disney Plus, and you watched it as well, Han and Greedo shoot at the exact same time, and Greedo somehow misses from point blank range across the table. Some bounty hunter is Greedo. Did you notice any different on the other version you watched, Chris? Or
the original, Han shoots, and that's it. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
So
I forgot. Yeah, that's one of the other differences as well. He literally goes bang. There's no question. Han shot first.
Which I think it's better. I like Han Solo having just shot him. That makes more sense. And did they say the thing? Did they say Star Wars, or even did they say A New Hope in this film?
Nope.
They didn't.
No.
They said the word hope, like it brings us hope or something like that, or we have hope now. But Star Wars, nope, never once mentioned. Chris, I expected you to come with some thunder here. So
yeah. We have one Wilhelm scream. This is the whole reason I picked that scream.
It was a stormtrooper falling from their classic cowboy movie shootout that they have, where it's like, pew, pew, and then they shoot. It's like no one's actually anywhere near anyone with their shooting. It's hilarious.
Luke moans about 30 times. I counted all that. I wasn't being as nitpicky as I was during the thing, because literally he rolled his eyes. He's fucking moaning. Drink. So I wasn't that nitpicky, but it was about 30 times. And I was going to do other ones, but I fell asleep and lost track of count. Well, I fell asleep during the second viewing. The lightsabers go up and down 11 times.
Is that many as that? It doesn't feel like that many.
Sometimes, like Darth Vader's is already up, and then you don't actually see it go down.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Most pornographic scenes next, Chris. You jumped the gun on most pornographic scenes.
I think I just already called it.
Yes, Andy, we're on most pornographic scene.
I'm actually going for the lightsaber. The first time Luke picks that thing up and just turns it on, it's what a noise.
You say that, but it's quite blatantly 1977. It's like it's off. It's like they moved just so slightly. And it's on. It's not a good.
Do you know what? The best noise for me is the first time you hear the Millennium Falcon take off. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like for this time it was TIE fighters for me. I thought they sounded awesome. They're gonna
Yeah, TIE fighters always sound good.
Okay, then on to the quiz. Andy, you are the quiz master. 10-point podcast quiz on point 5.
Right. So I decided, since we all know Star Wars, that we'll do a Star Wars quiz.
I'm gonna get shown up here.
Which is a hard one. So who wants to go first?
I'll take the first hit.
Right.
I have to
Going
put
first,
mine scoreboard, Chris. Like, anytime it's all the way around,
Right. So it's basically just back and forth, back and forth. If it gets passed over, you get a point, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
Same rules as a normal quiz. Question 1. What is the name of Princess Leia's ship?
Oh no, he's gone right between the lines. I don't know. Her Fortress of Solitude. I don't know.
Tantive 4 or something like that.
I didn't offer it over because I was not getting that.
Yeah. I know I didn't offer it because you were like, oh fuck no. So yeah, it was Tantive 4. Something 4.
Can't
Go
say
with
it. There's a bad scheme.
Yeah. I didn't say this one was easy, but however, Bruce did land on an easy question. What had taken place right before the opening scene? So, if you'd watched a film beforehand, ultimately, what was that film about?
So the spies had stolen the Death Star codes and sent them to Princess Leia's ship, and then they had escaped from another ship or
Correct.
someone else. Like,
Yeah, they stole the Death Star plans.
Basically, Rogue One.
Yeah, it's basically Rogue One.
The last half hour Rogue One, yeah.
Chris, slightly harder. How were Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru really related to Luke Skywalker? Now, I want specific.
Get this one.
Were they not? I don't fucking know. I can't remember.
Bruce.
So, Uncle Owen is the son of Anakin Skywalker's mother, but with a different father, or with an actual father.
Half brother of Luke Skywalker.
Or half brother of Luke Skywalker. Yes. There we go.
Yeah, you're right.
Skywalker.
So that's an extra point for you. Right, Bruce.
Look, he's hunting for easy ones. He's doing it again. It's so obvious.
No, it's not. Right. Luke Skywalker believes his father's occupation was. What does Luke Skywalker believe his father's occupation was before Obi-Wan told him the truth?
Oh, I don't know. I guess just a soldier is what I would have guessed.
Nope, Chris.
Was he not fighting a rebellion?
Nope, he was a navigator of a spice frigate.
Oh, okay.
Didn't know that. Or I missed that.
Chris, nice easy one for you. According to Obi-Wan Kenobi, what town is referred to a wrenchive hive of scum and villainy?
Mos Eisley.
Correct. See, they're not all hard, Chris. They're not all hard. Right, Bruce. Gets a little bit harder unless you keep paying attention. How much did Han Solo want to fly Obi and Luke to Alderaan?
I know what they agreed on. I know it's 17,000 when they get there. Was it 2,000 up front? That's what the agreement was, but I can't remember any more than that. That is my numbers, I'm afraid. That's my best guess.
Chris?
Han wanted 10.
Correct. A point for you. Han wanted 10. Chris's next question, which Bruce totally fucked up. How much did Obi-Wan actually offer?
Oh, no.
He offered 2 up front and then the rest afterwards.
What was the total?
So 17 total.
17,000, yes, I'll give you it. Right, right. Chris, do you not read out your thoughts?
That was my answer, I don't know.
What alien species is Greedo?
Oh, I watched Clone Wars not long ago, and so I kind of know, but...
Oh, I might have it.
I think it begins with an N, but I don't actually have a guess, I'm afraid. So yeah, I'll pass.
Chris?
Oh no, it's not. I was thinking of Rodanian.
That is correct.
Was it? I thought that was the one with the big eyes that's in the...
Nope, Chris was right. Right, Chris. Which one of these actresses did not audition for the role of Princess Leia? Was it Carrie Allen? Was it Jodie Foster? Or was it Meryl Streep?
I would say Carrie Allen, because I don't know who the fuck Carrie Allen is.
Karen Allen?
Karen Allen. Yes, that's what I meant.
Oh, is that her from Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Aye.
I'll go for her.
No. Bruce, he's now not
Do I get
the
a choice of one or two? Right. So
Is
it's
it
Jodie Foster.
or Meryl Streep?
I'll guess Jodie Foster.
Nope, it was actually Meryl Streep. She did not.
Oh, that was
The other two
actually
did.
really obvious because that was going to be my last one not to pick.
Who am I with, Bruce? A couple more.
Marina.
Right. George Lucas originally wanted which famous voice actor to voice Darth Vader?
Famous voice actor. Who was a famous voice actor back in the 70s?
What's it called?
I do not know.
Hey, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll let
is
Christopher
it
guess.
passed over?
Yeah.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Frank Oz, which is why he's back does Yoda.
It was not Frank Oz. It was the famous Autobots rollout, which was Orson Welles.
Oh, okay. Okay. It would be funny though if Darth Vader sounded like you.
Right, Chris.
Chris first. Yep.
Yeah.
One more each.
Pretty much one.
What's Luke Skywalker's designation during the Battle of Yavin?
What? Oh!
I think I know.
Is he Red 1?
No, Bruce.
Is he Red 5?
He has Red 5.
Yeah.
Right. Is it one more each?
Bruce's
Chris
last one
started,
now.
I get this to tie.
Aye.
So the draw.
Right,
I
you get a
guess.
sigh. Okay. What is the name of the Imperial officer Darth Vader chokes out because he finds his lack of faith disturbing?
That is disturbing. What is his name? I'm not looking. I've got my IMDb page, so I'm not looking at it. So it's not Tarkin because he's the good one. I don't know, like Silver or something like that. I don't know.
Nope, Chris.
Steve, I don't know.
It was Admiral Moti.
Moti. Okay, I wouldn't have got that.
Moti.
Chris wins, I would
Right.
say.
Chris wins.
Yeah.
My other one was, what is the connection? What connection does Ewan McGregor have to Dennis Lawson?
Is that his uncle? Or is he Dennis Lawson's nephew?
Nephew, yes.
Yeah.
Which was Wedge and Tilly's, hence why Obi-Wan Kenobi's now all there. So there you go. Chris
Yeah.
wins the Star Wars quiz.
Chris wins the Star Wars quiz.
Look
It's a good one. Some actual Star Wars knowledge coming out there.
Yeah.
And lack thereof. On to point 6, movies within movies. I cheated for this one, so bear with me. Because pretty much I don't know. I didn't know really any of this.
Star Wars like the Trailblazers.
Yeah, everything. Oh, and by the way,
It's still everything from Westerns.
well, I'll get to that as well. The connection page is bigger than Mark Hamill's been in page. I have never scrolled so far to get by whether it's like followed by or something like that, and then it's spoofed in, spoofed in, spoofed in, spoofed in, spoofed. Like this is spoofed in absolutely everything. And I finally got to references that Star Wars made. So references in Star Wars. C-3PO is designed like the robots from the film Metropolis from the 1930s. He looks like the robot from that. Luke's entire arc is basically the young guy in Seven Samurai. So him going off, which is a lot of the lightsaber battle stuff is all based on 60s and 70s Japanese cinema. So there's so many references that I do not get from Japanese cinema and all that. And like Andy says, a lot of westerns in terms of the setups and character types and what happens. And obviously,
Are you get to the actual what story this is just ripped right off of?
I might do. I'll get there. Other references, you can tell me at the end if I don't get to it, Andy. The Dam Busters, that's George Lucas says the attack on the Death Star is taken essentially lifted from the Busters. The Searchers, I don't know if that's it. That's a cowboy film, Luke's farm, and him returning home to find it burned and his parents and all that dead is from that. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a lot of the scenes on Tatooine, from the cantina to out in the desert. C-3PO and R2-D2 go to the desert was very much like that. 2001, A Space Odyssey came before this, so some of the spacey stuff was lifted from that. I don't get them because I've never seen it, but THX is a 1138, George Lucas' other film, has got little references dropped in everywhere, apparently. And then The Getaway apparently inspired the trash compactor scene in that movie. Some characters get away in the back of a bin lorry. So the trash compactor scene is like that. And that is me, Andy. So what film is this a straight lift off?
I can't remember. Something Fortress.
I could probably find it when we got onto someone else's go.
Yeah.
So I'll have a look.
It's something Fortress, I'm pretty sure. And there's another Western, which is the kind of standoffy thing. But yeah,
Right.
can't remember. Something Fortress.
I'll have a wee look when it is Chris's go. Never Not Good. This one was hard for Never Not Good because a lot of the stuff that Star Wars does that is good films try to do and then don't do them good.
Yes.
So I've just gone for the good old trusty lightsabers are always good, because even in this film they don't do much with them, but it's still pretty good. Chris, the TVB universe.
Yeah, well, the late great Carrie Fisher was most recently seen for us in the Blues Brothers, and I nearly forgot about it. All the way back in season 2, she was in The Burbs. My most forgotten film.
Yeah, at the most, I think more people have been in that in this section than any other film.
I almost missed this one. I don't know how, but James Earl Jones is uncredited in this, amazingly, and he was also uncredited in Judge Dredd as the narrator.
Yeah, he read the Star Wars style scroll at the beginning of
it. And I rattled through a lot of folk, and there's like 100 odd people in this film. Plus, the only one I could be bothered stopping at eventually was Angus McInnes. He played Gold Leader, and he was Judge Silver in Judge Dredd.
Where I'm getting Silver from, I think, for my answer earlier on. Yeah.
There's a lot of other people as well. I went through loads, so if I've missed somebody, then
there are more people uncredited in this film than credited, I think.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, I drew the line at Angus McInnes as well.
Okay,
I was like, that'll do me. Those three. There we go. I did find a couple of randoms that are like, oh, that's a film we might do, and oh, that's a film we might do. So we'll come back to this, I'm sure. But yes, have you recast this, Chris?
I haven't. I forgot to do that, but quite an easy one. I was going to make myself Luke, but then I remember he kisses his sister. I don't want that.
I made you. I don't know why, but I'm
going to make myself Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was going to make you Han Solo and Andy. No, actually, I think I was going to make Andy Han Solo and you Luke. But do you know what? I'll make Andy Darth Vader and I'll make you Han Solo.
Well, thank you. I'll take Han Solo. I went Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought I'm very Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought the beard might be Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then you look, I did Andy as Chewie. I feel like him and Chewie would get on like a house on fire.
I like to rip arms off.
I am really struggling here because there are so many films linked to this that I can't actually get to the references section. Andy, have you recast anybody in this film?
No, because I don't do that.
No, you recast.
So you take somebody out and put somebody else.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, I don't recast us.
No,
yeah. So basically, what I would do to make this film, like, it needs a remaster. Let's face it, it's not been remastered enough. Yes. So I reckon in 3 to 4 years' time, we take Alec Guinness out and put Ewan McGregor in.
I thought that'd be good.
And then we fix the entire lightsaber battle and have one more epic final battle so that I can rewatch Star Wars: A New Hope again. Because I don't feel like I ever need to watch this film ever again because I've watched it so many times.
Yeah.
So that would make me rewatch it one more time.
What was the one word we had to work with?
Fortress.
Fortress. So I've got The Searchers, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, The Secret Empire, Outland, and then that's me going. I mean, Secret Empire even wasn't it. So I don't think it was a Western that was called that. Maybe it's one of the Japanese films that's called that. But yeah, I can't find.
Hidden Fortress is called. Sorry.
There we go. So you got there. Google probably did it rather than.
Yeah, the Hidden Fortress, pretty much scene for scene's lifted out of it.
Well, there you are. Cool then. Are we on to Chris's Would You Rather on point 7 of the podcast? On you go, Chris.
I would rather have a lightsaber.
No. Would you rather give Darth Vader bad news or upset Chewie?
Oh. Upset Chewie because at the end he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Whereas Vader might just choke the shit out of me.
I know, like you walk up, I'm sorry Vader, I drank your last can of Iron Brew. Blech! As you choke to death. But
Chewie might just hit me and throw me across the room, but I'd still survive that.
I think so. Well, I think Darth Vader, I think he's a bit more of an unknown quantity as Darth Vader. He could do anything, where I think Chewie would be alright, yeah. The difference between the light side and the dark side, I would imagine.
I was going to do that one, that seems too obvious, so I can't. They made a point of saying, some guy gave Vader bad news, he got choked, and like, he never upset a Wookiee, so that's why I went for that one.
Yeah. I think so.
Imagine going up to Vader and going, we've actually run out of your asthma medication. Fucking hell.
That just takes your lungs.
Imagine you're the guy who was like, don't shoot at that little pod that's just fired out their ship. There's no life forms on it. That can't be important. It's like, oh, actually, sorry, Darth. That had, I think that robot that went out, they had the plans.
I mean, to be fair, it's pretty topical now how what's going on with Russia. Nobody wants to give Putin some bad news. It's like it's not going as well as they thought. These Ukrainian farmers have been stealing our tanks. Putin force choking the fuck out of people.
The rebels are there. Yeah. Okay,
then. Just imagine him just sitting in a chair with his helmet getting lowered down.
We're going to have to fly through the rest of the podcast to keep this short. So, nominations for the 10 Point Podcast Awards at the end of the season. I'll run through what I've got. Best song is definitely the Cantina Band song.
I put Imperial March.
If you want to go properly, I'll do that. But yeah, in terms of the Cantina Band.
It's two gets one. Like, I'll accept.
Mine is a ceremony march, so mine's the end ceremony song. So.
I've got best score. I have said John Williams needs a shout out for best score. It does exist in our award ceremonies. Best supporting actor. I'm going Harrison Ford. He's not in it a lot. He's really
him
good.
as best actor.
Yeah, because he got nominated for best actor at the Saturn Awards there. But I'm like, I don't know if he's not the lead actor. He's not in it very much. So I put him as best supporting. Whereas Alec Guinness is not in it enough, really.
My best supporting is James Earl Jones's voice.
Best fight, if it counts, I'm going the Battle of Yavin. If we can class,
I'd say that's a battle fight.
Battle. Yeah, I'm going that. Best sets, I'm going for like the interiors for the Death Star for the best sets, but I can be argued down from that. I'm not going to die on that hill.
Yeah, I would say they're clean, they're fresh. They don't look as rugged as the old Falcon behind me.
Yeah, okay, maybe Falcon then. Okay, I've got best special effects and then I've left it blank, so I'm taking bids on what the best special effects in the film because I don't have an answer. I don't know.
I'd say lightsaber if you're going based on the pure original.
Yeah, lightsabers, I guess.
I mean, that was a bit of tinfoil that made that look like that.
Right, okay. I've got best plan. I've got them actually rescuing Princess Leia. Their plan being dropped in, like they did not plan to be in the Millennium Falcon, and then they found out she's here. Their plan of going, getting her, and then leaving was very effective. So I'm saying that's the best plan. Although ultimately winning, like blowing up Death Star, was success as well. I think that was a good plan. Done the score. Best voice work, which is an award we have, James Earl Jones. I think has to get that. Best entrance, Darth Vader. Made all the better by having seen the film beforehand now, or the film just beforehand. Best Jimmy, James Earl Jones. Best Jimmy. I don't know if you'll thank me for that. Worst, I'm in the worst categories now, and I only have one nominee of anything. Worst special effects, and that's the CGI on Tatooine, and whatever you want to pick. Most annoying kid, if Luke Skywalker counts, he's getting nominated.
Yeah, he's still a kid.
Most obvious name, Old Ben Kenobi. It's a bit sick of a new nickname, Old Ben. And then I've got down to, I couldn't get a stupidest character. I tried, but no one jumped out as being especially stupid. So the 8-hour Prime Awards from the 10 Point Podcast. Best line, I recognised your full stench when I came on board as a belter of a put down. Best inanimate object.
Lightsaber.
Yep, has to be. Yeah, has to be lightsaber. Death Star maybe, but lightsaber wins it, I think. And best bell end, Darth Vader's the obvious one, but I think Grand Moff Tarkin is a great.
See, I went somewhere different for this. My biggest bell end is C-3PO because he's just a moaning prick. My best bad guy, however, is Grand Moff Tarkin because Vader just killed 4 or 5 people, but he is responsible for the murder of billions.
2 billion. Yes.
Yeah. So he's my best bad guy.
Yeah, he's very good at being, and he's so like weaselly. And it's great. And that's me done. So Chris, have you got more? Carry on.
I don't know if we got a category. Worst kiss. Looking later, there's just no need for it.
We do have worst kiss.
Okay, there you go. Add that one. That's it.
Oh well. Okay.
I'm pretty much, you've covered me off as well.
Yeah, there was quite a lot. It wasn't nothing too drastic, I don't think, jumping out, but it's quite a few.
Best costume, Vader.
Ah, okay.
I think that's one.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Take that one too. On to point 9, the moral of the story. I still don't have one written down. So, Chris, you said you had one. So
yeah, the moral, hand shot first.
Hand shot first. Or in your one, hand shot only. In your one.
Exactly. There you go.
The moral of the story for me is just use the Force. I feel like that's the whole point of the film was like Luke Skywalker was supposed to find the Force, and then once he did use the Force, they won. And hey, there we go. So I guess. Be spiritual or believe in something greater.
That sounds like a bad thing. Moral story: use force.
Yeah, use force. What were you?
That's what Will Smith did.
Yeah.
Mine says, "Don't look down a deadly weapon before you know what it does." So don't point a lightsaber towards your face, or don't look down the barrel of a gun.
I did feel like. When he was first practicing with it, C-3PO powered off randomly. I don't know why that was in the film. Why necessarily? He was like, do you mind if I power down now? Okay. It was very close to just taking C-3PO's head off with that lightsaber. Maybe that's why. Okay, on to point 10, our 10-point rating. We rate the movie out of 10. Chris, you are first in my little list here.
Well, after watching both versions, the remastered one looks, on Disney, looks amazing. I just feel like adding random little critters for no reason is just pointless and it's unnecessary. It just takes the focus away from the actual film. But crap, where am I? Other than that, like, there's a reason this has become the biggest franchise ever because of this one film, and like I've never noticed. Yeah. I've lost where I've got so much written here.
He's going to
I never noticed how much.
I
know it's such a film. I never noticed how much of a whingy little bitch that Luke is, but and it's a little smidge slow in like some places, but it's a great film, and I could watch this again and again and again because it's so good. I'm giving it an 8.
8 from Christopher. I've got me as being next. I'm not going to have anything written down like Chris does here. It's Star Wars. What do you want from me? Would be my answer. This is a film that's hurt by its own success because it's really good, but then there are at least a couple of other Star Wars that are better than it. So it kind of knocks it down a bit. This is, of all of the Star Wars films, this is the one I forget how good it is until I watch it. And I'm like, it's just really good. And then, oh yeah, that one's better. And then that one's better. It gets knocked back down again. So I'm also going with an 8 because there are some faults, but it's pretty damn good. And like Chris said, it started billions worth of pounds worth of revenue for people. So yeah, it has to be good. Andy?
The only thing I can add is this is my childhood. This is my life. I've been living off of this shit as well. However, there is better ones. Shout out to Caravan of Courage, the Ewoks movie.
We'll get there.
However, I'm agreeing with you guys. It is an 8. Solid 8.
Makes my maths easy enough.
Very often that happens.
Yeah, not very easy. Not very often it's easy for me. An 8 out of 10 for Star Wars. Not a surprise to anybody. We would give it a high score. 8 out of 10 Star Wars. And have we started Star Wars now, Chris? You mentioned it as if we haven't done a Star Wars yet. Let's keep going, or is it?
Well, I will eventually go through them, but I've got to say,
depends how many seasons we get kicked off the air for.
Yeah.
Keep donating.
Poppy has just started to take an interest in Star Wars, and she wanted to watch it from the start, so I've started doing it there. So,
have you started with this one?
No, I started with the awfulness that is Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, but you spoil the Darth Vader reveal that way. That's the.
I know. I know what it is. But as a kid, I grew up with the Ewoks cartoon. It's definitely worth a watch, Chris. Get those bad boys on, especially for little Sam. He'll love it.
Okay.
And
I mean, you mean like how I should watch Jackass 4 with the kids? Because of the very
start. Big monster at the start. Hit a big dinosaur.
Around this time, we normally try and guess themes and all that, but Chris's futuristic things that have been invented theme is going strong. So on to next time, and it is the unnamed random wheel of randomness that picks films for us this time. And Chris hasn't seen it yet, Andy, has he? So.
Oh, you changed it?
I've not seen it yet.
I need to be prepared for a random pick because I might go off my
because it could
list.
Oh yeah,
can you guys see it?
The wheel is visible.
Right. We're supporting Ukraine, by the way.
Yeah, the blue and yellow is the shout out to the people of Ukraine. Big listenership over in Ukraine. So,
right, here we go. You ready for the spin?
Yes.
Right,
we don't get the funky music anymore, so
I still do. My head.
We're slowing down. Oh,
that was lucky.
No!
Well, there you go.
It looks like it says Greece to me. Is that the one that Greece is?
Greece.
That's not come from my line of options for the wheel. I'll tell you that much. A musical, Chris. Chris is on the record as loving musicals. So we've never done a bad musical on the podcast. I feel like every time we've done a musical, it's actually been quite fun. We've liked it. And I'm not sure I've ever seen Grease all the way through. I know it's the songs from it, but I don't think I've seen it.
And this is like John Travolta's second outing as well, so here we go.
What did we have him, John Travolta, in? What was he in? Oh, he was
Look Who's Talking.
Look Who's Talking, yeah. One of our more successful episodes for some
reason. Look how he actually looks destroyed.
Have you seen Grease before, Chris?
Yes, I have.
Right, okay. Bad news then.
The kids can watch it. They'll love that. Sing along.
I might just do an Andy and go full on troll hunter on this. I'm not speaking song. That's the only thing I fucking do in that film.
And there you go. We're already way over time. So there you go, everyone. Possibly 7 days. Next time we'll watch Grease. Get it.
Andy and Bruce. I'm not here. I'm a coming.
We'll catch you next time on the Template Podcast.